Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into Nvidia.
Nvidia.
To figure out if their stock is a buy right now.
Okay.
Before the end of the year.
Before the end of 2024.
That's right.
All right.
And for this, we're going to be looking at a Motley Fool article
Okay.
that asks the question, should you buy Nvidia stock hand over fist before the end of 2024? Here's what history suggests. And this was published just yesterday, December 4th, 2024.
Very recent.
Yes, so
Yeah.
very, very timely.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at their historical performance.
Okay.
And then we'll get into like how this whole AI thing
Yeah.
is impacting them and the potential of accelerated computing.
Accelerated computing.
Right. Sounds good.
Yeah, it should be an interesting one.
So historically speaking, Nvidia has done really, really well.
Yeah.
Especially in Q1.
Yeah. This article highlights how
Yeah.
since going public in 1999, they have seen positive returns in 20 out of 25 first quarters.
20 out of 25.
Which is...
Wow. That's like 80%.
That's a really good track record.
Yeah. And on average, those gains are around 19%.
19% just for Q1.
Just for Q1.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all. But the real like crazy part is if you look over like 3 and 5 year periods.
Yeah. Tell me about that. What are we talking?
Well, the average returns are...
Oh, wow.
195% for the 3-year.
Okay.
And 551% for the 5-year period.
That's incredible.
It's insane.
So basically what that's telling us is
Yeah.
Nvidia has shown very consistent growth over time,
Yeah.
which is a great sign for investors. But of course, past performance is no guarantee of future results.
That's very true. And speaking of past performance,
Yeah.
the article does also point out
Okay.
that Nvidia stock in the first quarter of 2008
Oh,
dropped about 42%.
42%, ouch.
So clearly no guarantees.
No guarantees, that's for sure.
Right. And that was due to the whole financial crisis,
Oh, right. Yeah, the global financial crisis.
which obviously impacted markets
Yeah.
across the board.
Absolutely. And I think that just goes to show that
Yeah.
even the giants like Nvidia
Yeah.
aren't immune to these global macroeconomic events.
Right.
So it's really important to keep the big picture in mind.
The big picture. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and here's where I think things get really interesting.
Okay.
Because the article makes this argument that
Yeah.
the current situation with Nvidia is unlike anything we've seen before.
Different. Okay.
Because of what they call the generative AI explosion.
The generative AI explosion. I like that.
Yeah.
So that's got to be good news for Nvidia, right?
I mean, I would think so.
Okay.
Because they seem to be at the forefront of this.
The article is arguing that the current situation with Nvidia is unlike anything we've seen before, mainly because of this so-called generative AI explosion.
Right.
Now, generative AI refers to these AI systems that can create new content,
Okay.
like text images, even code.
Wow.
It's changing the game for so many industries.
Yeah.
Art, entertainment, scientific research.
It's everywhere you know.
Everywhere you look.
Yeah.
So
Nvidia is well positioned to ride this AI wave, wouldn't you say?
I would say so. Yes, their GPUs are really well suited to handle these complex computations that power generative AI.
Yeah.
And their software ecosystem is really tailored to meet the needs of these developers working with this technology.
Wow. So they're ahead of the curve.
They seem to be ahead of the curve. But
the article does caution that future returns might not be as high as what we've seen historically.
Why is that?
What are some of the things they point to?
Well, for starters, the competition in the AI chip market is really getting fierce.
Oh, okay.
You got other companies.
Like who?
Like AMD, Intel, even Google.
Google's making chips.
They're developing their own AI hardware.
Wow.
So NVIDIA's going to have to fight to stay on top.
Yeah, so you're saying there's a chance that NVIDIA could lose market share
It is a possibility, yes.
to these competitors.
It's a possibility. And then on top of that, you have to think about the overall economic climate.
Right.
Interest rates are higher now
Yeah.
than they've been in recent years.
And there's always that chance of a recession.
Yeah, and an economic downturn could really affect spending
Yeah.
by consumers and businesses,
Right.
which could lead to less demand for their products.
So even with all this excitement around AI, there are some headwinds to consider.
Absolutely. You have to look at both sides of the coin.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, the Motley Fool article dives into a potential game changer for NVIDIA. Their new Blackwell GPU architecture.
Blackwell.
Which boasts significant advancements in processing power and efficiency.
So more power, more efficient.
Yes.
Got it.
And NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang
Jensen Huang.
is so confident
Okay.
in Blackwell's capabilities.
Right.
He even called it the most successful product, not just for NVIDIA, but for the entire history of computing.
That's a bold statement.
It's a pretty bold statement.
So what makes this Blackwell architecture so groundbreaking? What is it?
Well, it's all about pushing the boundaries of what AI can achieve.
Okay.
And it incorporates all these technical innovations that enhance the processing power and efficiency.
Yeah. Got it.
Which makes it ideal for tackling those really complex AI applications.
Okay.
And, NVIDIA has this annual cycle of releasing new chips, right?
Right.
So even after Blackwell,
Right.
we can expect even more powerful GPUs on the horizon.
So they're constantly innovating.
Constantly innovating.
Yeah.
Yeah, and pushing the limits
Yeah.
of what's possible in computing.
Okay.
And that's why they've been able to maintain their market-leading position.
So how does all of this tie back to AI?
Yeah.
Its impact on NVIDIA's future?
Well, AI is still
Yeah.
in its early stages of development,
Right.
but the possibilities are really vast.
Yeah.
We're talking about like breakthroughs, like artificial general intelligence or AGI,
AGI.
which could be a huge catalyst for NVIDIA's continued growth.
Now, for those who aren't familiar,
Yeah.
AGI is basically the concept of AI that can perform any intellectual task
Yeah.
that a human can.
It's
like science fiction.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but if it becomes a reality,
right.
the demand for NVIDIA's GPUs
Yeah.
would likely skyrocket.
For sure. But even if we
Yeah.
set aside the possibility of AGI,
Okay.
there's still a massive opportunity for NVIDIA in what's known as accelerated computing.
Accelerated computing, fill me in.
So accelerated computing involves utilizing specialized hardware, like GPUs,
Okay.
to speed up computational tasks that were traditionally handled by CPUs.
Okay.
So it's about making computers work smarter and faster.
I got it.
And this shift towards accelerated computing is happening
Okay.
across various industries,
Yeah.
from scientific research to financial modeling to healthcare.
Interesting.
And the article highlights a potential $1 trillion market opportunity for NVIDIA
$1 trillion.
as organizations embraced this new approach to computing.
Wow, that's a huge number.
It's a big number.
So even if AI doesn't develop as rapidly as some predict,
Right.
they still have this massive market to tap into.
Exactly. The shift to accelerated computing is happening,
It is.
regardless of AI's future.
Interesting. Okay.
So with all that being said,
Yeah.
what's the Motley Fool's take on
Sure.
whether or not we should be rushing to buy NVIDIA stock?
Should we buy it?
Well, they suggest that
Yeah.
if you truly believe in NVIDIA's future growth potential,
Okay.
you should essentially throw out the history books.
Throw out the history books.
In other words,
Okay.
the potential of AI
Yeah.
and accelerated computing might be so transformative that it warrants a different approach to evaluating NVIDIA's future.
So you're saying historical data might not be as relevant?
They're saying,
Yeah.
they're acknowledging the risks.
Right.
We discussed like the competition,
Right.
the potential for economic downturn.
Yeah.
But they're saying the potential rewards
Yeah.
could outweigh those risks.
So it's a gamble.
Kind of.
Okay.
But their stance is that buying NVIDIA stock before the end of the year
All right.
makes sense if you believe in the company's ability to capitalize on these emerging trends
Okay.
and continue to innovate.
It's a bet on the future.
It is a bet on the future.
All right.
That's a lot to consider.
It is a lot to consider.
So what are your initial thoughts so far?
Well, I think NVIDIA's historical performance is really impressive,
Yeah.
but I'm also really struck by the potential impact of AI,
Yeah.
especially with things like generative AI
Right.
and this growing adoption of accelerated computing.
Yeah. It seems like AI has the potential to be a
Yeah.
real game changer for them.
Game changer, and they seem well positioned to take advantage of that.
But as we've discussed, there are some potential downsides too.
Yes, definitely some downsides. We've talked about the competition.
Right.
The broader economic context.
Yeah. And I think it's important to remember
Yeah.
that we need to look beyond the hype
Beyond the hype.
surrounding AI
Okay.
to make a truly informed decision.
Absolutely. We need to zoom out.
Yeah.
Look at the bigger picture.
The bigger picture.
What are the potential downsides of focusing solely on these trends?
Right.
What other factors could influence NVIDIA's performance?
That's a great question.
It is.
And it's one we'll explore in more depth in just a moment.
All right, I'm ready when you are. So we were just talking about, looking beyond the hype surrounding AI.
Right.
It's easy to get caught up in that.
It is.
But to really make an informed decision about an investment like Nvidia,
Yeah.
we need to consider that broader context.
Okay, so what are some of those other factors that could play a role in Nvidia's future?
Well, we touched on competition a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
You know, Nvidia may be a leader in the AI chip space right now, but they're facing some serious competition from other tech giants.
Yeah, like who are we talking about?
You know, AMD Intel are making significant investments in their own AI hardware.
Okay.
And even Google is developing its own AI processors.
Google's making their own chips now.
They are.
Wow.
So, even with a strong track record,
Right.
Nvidia can't afford to get complacent.
Oh, they got to stay on top of their game.
Exactly. The tech landscape is constantly changing.
Always.
And to stay ahead, they need to continually innovate and outmaneuver their rivals.
See, you mentioned Google developing their own chips.
Yeah.
Are they a real threat to Nvidia, do you think?
They certainly have the potential to be.
Yeah.
Google has a vast amount of resources and expertise in AI.
Yeah.
And they've already made some impressive strides in developing their own custom AI chips.
Oh, well.
So it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
So what does all this competition mean for Nvidia investors?
I think it means that while Nvidia has strong foothold in the market, there's no guarantee that they'll be able to maintain their current level of dominance.
Okay.
Investors need to consider the possibility that increased competition
Right.
could erode Nvidia's market share and impact their profitability.
Right. So that's one thing we got to factor in.
For sure.
What about the overall economic climate?
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
We mentioned it briefly.
It is a big piece of the puzzle.
But it seems like a really big piece of the puzzle.
It is. As we know, the global economy isn't exactly firing on all cylinders right now.
It's not.
We're in a period of higher interest rates.
Yeah, we are.
Which can increase borrowing costs
Right.
for companies like Nvidia and make it harder for them to invest in growth.
And we also talked about that possibility of a recession.
Yeah, a recession would definitely have ripple effects across the entire tech industry.
Yeah, if businesses and consumers start tightening their belts, demand for Nvidia's products could definitely decline.
Most likely would decline, yeah.
So, okay, we've got competition, rising interest rates, and the potential for a recession.
We do.
That's a lot to weigh against the potential of AI.
It is a lot to weigh.
How do we even begin to make sense of all this?
I think it's all about understanding the full picture.
Yeah.
You have these pieces that represent the exciting potential of AI.
Right.
And accelerated computing, and then you have to factor in the pieces that represent the competitive landscape, the economic outlook,
Right.
other market forces. It's like a puzzle. You need all the pieces to see the whole image.
I like that analogy.
It's not just about getting swept up in the hype.
Right.
It's about evaluating all the different factors, both positive and negative.
The good and the bad.
Exactly.
And then making an informed assessment.
Yes. Ultimately, the decision of whether or not to buy Nvidia stock comes down to your individual assessment of those risks and rewards.
Your own personal risk tolerance?
There's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of the upsides and downsides.
We have.
What are your overall thoughts on Nvidia's future?
I'm cautiously optimistic.
Okay.
I think they've consistently demonstrated strong leadership in a rapidly growing market.
Yeah.
And they have a solid track record of innovation.
They do.
But it's crucial to approach any investment with a realistic understanding of the challenges and uncertainties that lie ahead.
Makes sense. Now, I'm curious, the Motley Fool made that statement about throwing out the history books.
Yeah.
When it comes to evaluating Nvidia, in light of AI's potential, how much weight should we actually give to their past performance when we're making a decision like this?
That's a good question. I think it's a balancing act.
Yeah.
Historical data can definitely provide valuable insights into a company's trajectory, but it's crucial to recognize that the tech world is incredibly dynamic.
It's always changing.
And constantly evolving.
Yeah.
Past success doesn't necessarily guarantee future dominance.
Right, especially in a field like AI.
Especially in a field like AI, which is advancing at an unprecedented pace.
So we shouldn't completely ignore their past performance.
Right.
But we also need to look beyond that.
Beyond the historical data.
To understand what's driving the future of the industry.
Exactly. Instead of fixating solely on past trends, investors need to be looking at NVIDIA's product roadmap.
Okay.
Analyzing how they're addressing emerging challenges like competition.
Right.
And scrutinizing how they're positioning themselves to capitalize on the opportunities presented by AI and accelerated computing.
So it's about digging deeper.
It is.
Getting into the nitty-gritty.
Yes.
And making an informed assessment.
Absolutely.
Based on a holistic understanding of the company and the market.
You got it.
And there's another layer to this whole NVIDIA and AI story that I find really fascinating.
Oh, okay. Tell me more.
We've been talking a lot about how the rise of AI could impact NVIDIA.
Right.
But what if we flip that around? What if we think about how NVIDIA is impacting the future of AI itself?
I like that.
Right.
Okay, I'm listening.
Think about it. NVIDIA isn't just passively benefiting from the AI revolution. They're actively shaping it.
Yeah.
Their GPUs are powering some of the most cutting-edge AI research and development.
It's true.
Happening right now, pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
So you're saying when we invest in Nvidia, we're not just investing in the company.
Right.
We're investing in the advancement of AI.
As a whole.
As a whole. That's a really insightful way to put it.
I think it adds another dimension to this conversation.
I agree.
This whole deep dive into NVIDIA has really given me a lot to think about.
Me too.
It's been really insightful.
It has.
We've uncovered so much valuable information about their impressive past, the exciting potential of AI, and all those factors that could influence their future.
And we've highlighted some key questions that investors should be asking themselves as they explore this potential investment opportunity.
It's all about empowering you, the listener, to make informed decisions.
Exactly. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to investing.
Absolutely. So let's wrap up this deep dive with some key takeaways and a thought-provoking question.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we're back.
Back for the final part.
For the final part of our NVIDIA deep dive.
We've covered a lot of ground today.
A lot of ground, a lot to digest.
From NVIDIA's history to the potential of AI and all these factors that could shape their future.
As promised, we wanted to leave you with something to ponder.
Yes.
As you continue your own research.
Keep those brains buzzing.
Okay, hit me with that thought-provoking question.
All right, so, you know, when we think about NVIDIA's future, we tend to focus on AI and accelerated computing.
Yeah, those big, exciting possibilities.
Right, but what if we flip the script for a second?
Okay.
What if we think about how NVIDIA is impacting the world around us?
What do you mean?
Well, NVIDIA's technology is incredibly powerful, right?
It is.
It's not just driving innovation in the tech industry, it's influencing fields like healthcare, manufacturing, transportation.
So you're saying that NVIDIA's impact extends far beyond just computers and gaming?
Exactly.
Wow.
Their technology is helping to shape the future in ways we might not even fully grasp yet.
Yeah.
And that raises some really interesting questions about their responsibility and the potential consequences of their advancements.
It's like we're looking at NVIDIA through a whole new lens now.
It's all about broadening our perspective, right?
Yeah.
As investors, it's important to understand not just the financial potential of a company, but also its role in the wider world.
I completely agree. This deep dive has been an eye-opener, to say the least.
It has been.
We've delved into NVIDIA's history, analyzed the AI landscape, unpacked all those crucial market forces that could influence their future.
And hopefully we've given you, the listener, some valuable insights and food for thought.
For sure.
As you make your own decisions about investing in NVIDIA.
It all comes down to doing your research.
Yes.
Understanding those risks and rewards. And ultimately deciding if NVIDIA aligns with your investment goals and beliefs.
Well said. So to recap our deep dive, remember that NVIDIA has an impressive track record.
They do.
But the future of AI and accelerated computing is full of opportunities and challenges.
For sure.
Competition is heating up, economic uncertainties loom large.
Right.
And that broader impact of NVIDIA's technology is something we all need to think about.
Exactly. And I think the key takeaway here is that knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
The more informed you are, the better equipped you'll be to navigate the ever-changing world of investing.
So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those tough questions.
Absolutely.
That's how you make smart decisions and create the future you want to see.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into NVIDIA.
Thanks for having me.
Till next time, keep those brains buzzing.